Do you want to learn how to make your felt dolls even more special? This week is week 2 of the Created with Love felt panel sew along, and come on inside. I'm happy to show you. Hello everyone and welcome. It is week 2 of the Created with Love felt panel sew along. Honestly, this is my favorite week. This is my favorite week because there's so many opportunities for creativity. There's so many opportunities to explore with your child, and then also just to kind of get to know the felt panel and the story yourself. So inside this week in Created with Love Felt Panel Sew Along, I'm Jennifer Long, your guide, and I am going to be sharing with you different ways that you can do it for safety, for relationship building, for early years education, for communication, and also for just beauty. And then we can also talk about them for ease, right? So all the ways. We're going to talk through those today, and I'm going to share with you a few things that I do to make them a little extra special. So if you haven't already seen, I would hop back and watch week 1 video here so to make sure you have all your supplies. I'm not going to go through all of the supplies again today. So if you haven't watched week 1 video, please go back and watch that one first and then come and join us here. I'm going to get us dropped down so I can really show you all of the things that we're going to do. And we're going to begin on being creative together. All right, let's get going. All right, so let's begin here. I'll make sure we have everything here. Okay, so I printed out my my instructions. Like I said before in video 1, that the instructions are right here on your felt panel, and you're more than welcome to follow along. They're the same instructions, but they're bright and colorful here and fully illustrated in here. So here's that supply list that I talked to you about and going back to video 1. And then here's what we're going to start out today. We're going to start by just kind of getting our dolls embellished. This we're going to do this week. So you're going to take your felt panel, and because it is a large felt panel and there's just so much happening on here, you're going to take your felt panel and you're going to cut it out into like manageable areas. So you can cut it out into like a few shapes at once, or you can cut out each shape. I would roughly cut. So I wouldn't even worry about these 2 seam allowances. I would just roughly cut like this and cut your pieces out. Now, I do want to explain what these 2 seam allowances are here for. So this is with children in mind. If you are making this for a child, or your child has some experience with cutting, you are more than welcome to cut right on this line. However, if it's a child cutting and it's so disheartening to do all of this work and then they accidentally like cut right through, I've given them a whole 1/2 inch here to sort of help them feel confident and comfortable. Now, again, I wouldn't give a child such big scissors like this. I would try and find scissors that are more a size for a child's hand, which I don't have at my table here right now. So again, and I wouldn't do this cutting like this on this line or on this line until we have all of the sandwich layers together. So until we've put, we're going to talk about that in a second, if you're doing this and if you're doing the felt backing, that's when I would cut on the seam allowance, so you get this really nice clean cut. And felt doesn't fray, so that one cut is like your last cut to do. So that's what it's like. So the shapes might feel like they're a little large right now, but once you cut them, especially if you're using this 1/4 inch seam allowance or even smaller, then it's actually like a really nice size shape. So that was the thought behind there. Before we begin on that, what I'm going to have you do here, let me just get this moved over just slightly, sorry. Okay, We'll just keep that in like this. What I'd like to get you to do is to cut out your shapes roughly. So I know I cut the blue off already here, and take a look at it. Do you want any embellishments to happen on this? Maybe you want to use a little bit of sparkle paste on these dots. Maybe you want to add some texture and do French knots here, or follow along, or maybe on the snow caps you want to do some long like thread work here, or maybe even like, wouldn't this be amazing, this sparkle on here? So you can take a paintbrush and add to this, or maybe even a palette, a little palette knife. And here, I'll just do a little bit here to show you. So we'll just get a little bit and we'll just spread it on here, and you can just see how beautiful it is. Oh my goodness. All right, excellent. So just like that, you can let it dry, or you can heat set it here. And then, I don't know if you can see that shimmering happening, but it's so pretty. All right, so we can do that. And you're just gonna go through, this is the fun, creative process. I'm gonna show you some examples of a few things that I've done just to help inspire you. So I've just followed along with these and made, just stitch lines using Aurifil or Aurifloss here, just for a little bit of tactile experience and texture. Children always just love that. To give these leaves a little bit of extra like texture, I added just a whole bunch of French knots in there, and you can see that I've covered them up, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. We'll just grab a couple other characters from here. Let's see what else I did. Oh, I really went to town on the seaweed here and added a lot of different fun in here. I added some French knots on these dots to the koala bears, gave some texture around to the lion. Oh my goodness, look at this hedgehog. Like, there's just so much fun to be had here. Just added one line of chain stitching here to the rainbow. Again, just give a little bit of accents to the bear. So there's just lots of things you can do here. Here's to the ram. Yeah, lots of fun. Little bit to the turtle. And then I even did it on the bag. So you can see I just echoed the colors here, just for a little bit of texture. I even sewed buttons. Now, warning, depending on age appropriateness, if buttons are appropriate for your age. The reason why I like floss and sparkle paste is because this floss is going to be like attached, and it's going to be hidden here at the back, as well as sparkle paste is as well. But buttons can come off and choke, so do be careful depending on the age of your child. You can see I did add quite a few here, and I did match these. We'll talk about that in week 4, how to do that. All right, so that's a little bit of suggestions there. And so really what I want you to do is go ahead and add embellishments. If you want extra stability, you can do this before you add the embellishments or right after, before you do the sandwich. And you can, yes or no, it's your opportunity to like iron on. So this is fusible interfacing. It's called Craft Extra Firm. It's something that I just really love. This one's 20 inches by a yard. So if you're going to do both, you might need 2 packages of this. And I would just take my roughly cut, where is my, here it is, my roughly cut, and put it on here and just cut around. You can either fuse it right now. I would fuse it with this side, the felt side down, and on the back of your heat and bond, and then I would embellish. It won't be until you put the back felt, which will happen next week. So we'll finish these dolls next week, that you'll put the back felt on and hide all of your knots that you have at the back and any of your running stitches or anything else like that. But you can attach that now this week, and then give a little bit more stability while you're sewing through everything. It just anchors it a little bit more. So you can just follow through the instructions. If you're anxious, you can kind of go ahead. It does show you here what to do, and see, it shows you that you're cutting it after. So you've sewn it here with all of those layers. You're sewing it inside and you've cut it here. But again, if it's your child cutting, you can cut it on that additional outside seam allowance here. So there's lots of fun to be had. I cannot wait to see what you do or what you are going to create with these felt panels and these felt dolls. So thank you so much for being here today. It's been just a pleasure. I can't wait. Ooh, honestly, I cannot wait to see how you turn your felt dolls into your own works of art and your own creativity. There are no rules, there's no boundaries, there's no right and wrong. And just really, however you want to make them is going to be the way that they're meant to be made. So I can't wait to see what you create. And until next time, I will see you here again on week 3. And I hope you have a very, very wonderful week. Bye for now.